Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, October 24, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your coworkers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your ear recently. Also, feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at this post that was made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica today. By the way, I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there so that you don't miss these posts at all. And the post we're highlighting today was the anniversary for Hurricane Sandy. So it states here, today in hurricane history, 12 years ago on October 24, 2012, Hurricane Sandy made landfall in Jamaica as a powerful Category 1 with strong winds and heavy rainfall, causing 2 fatalities and racking up $100 million in damages across Jamaica. Do you remember this hurricane? And we highlighted the numerous radar loops, satellite images, as well as the radar loops across the island, definitely coming in from the south across Jamaica, lots of thunderstorms, and then it definitely became an even more formidable system as it crossed into Cuba from south to north. Even the Cuban Doppler radar was definitely an impressive sight. Look at the eye, definitely passing over St. Thomas for sure into Portland, then pushing northward with all of the heavy rainfall, the greens, the yellows, and it definitely became quite the formidable storm in that it turned into a major hurricane as soon as it passed Jamaica. So we can see it right here, it's a tropical depression, then a tropical storm, then becoming a hurricane right before landfall, then definitely becoming a Category 3 major hurricane before hitting eastern Cuba. And we can see the track right here, pushing northward into the Bahamas, then pushing westward into portions of the northeastern United States. And it definitely caused quite some damage. We definitely had some power outages for sure. Do you remember this hurricane? Feel free to leave a comment down below. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our followers here on our Instagram page confirming that they remember the system. King James Rico stating Superstorm Sandy. Sharice.Brown5 stating, I remember this, oh my god, time fly fast, man. We didn't get no rain, no breeze, or nothing down here in Clarendon. It was a bright sunny day. I got the opposite. I was in St. Thomas and definitely got the brunt of it. Some heavy rainfall, strong winds, power outages. I was in the eye of the storm actually, on my bicycle riding around with a friend. We also have S.S_Haynes stating, that was my second experience of hurricane. Highly_favorite_Cordy stating, it hit Jamaica and came straight to New York. It did us bad in New York, especially the flooding, and since they are not so equipped for hurricanes. And we even had another comment coming in here, pon._lucky stating, I was 6 when Hurricane Sandy hit Jamaica. It was a weak storm. Shanna_sweetness stating, I sure remember. I was about 18 at that time. And then finally some comments here on our Facebook page. Esther stating, yes, I remember. It was horrible here in St. Mary. Diane stating, for a Cat 1 hurricane, it did go on bad. Sylvia stating, I remember that day I lost my lime tree. And Anisha stating, I do. My daughter was a baby. So that indeed confirms those persons who remember what was happening in 2012 on this day for sure. But as of right now, we don't see anything happening on the U.S. National Hurricane 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. No new activity expected within the next 7 days. We can see this as of their latest update that just came out at 7:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:16 p.m. Jamaica time, so about an hour and almost 30 minutes ago. And if we focus our attention on what the supercomputer models are showing, so we showed them yesterday for the first time. I really don't like showing them because they're definitely subject to change, but they have been persistent, especially the GFS. So we shall see exactly what unfolds. If nothing occurs, we know that rainfall is definitely going to be in the forecast if we don't get a named storm. So we're just going to be focusing our attention right here at the top. We're going up to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days. And we're going to be focusing our attention across the Caribbean in general. So as we go out in time, let us see what occurs regarding this system. So we can see that there's going to be somewhat of a trough left back that was induced by a frontal system. Definitely going to be bringing some more moisture to portions of the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, into Jamaica and the western Caribbean. Starting tomorrow, this is 9:00 on Friday, which is actually 4 a.m. So we're definitely in for some amount of rainfall, especially on the north coast for sure. We can see this rainfall even lingering even more because this trough is definitely going to be a bit stationary, sitting on top of us for quite some time. We see the rainfall even into Saturday, October 26th. The rainfall is still there by Sunday. Rainfall is still there by Monday, and this is just the Euro. And let us continue to go out in time to see what occurs. Suddenly we're starting to see a huge mass of moisture across the central to the western Caribbean. But as we wrap up the next 168 hours, we see that yes, we have a lot of moisture across the southwestern Caribbean, and that's where the other supercomputer models are saying that there's something that's going to be festering, something that's going to want to try to bubble up or form and become an airflow pressure. Yesterday we had more of a signature that something could form on the Euro. We had an L that represents an airflow pressure. Don't see it much right now. This is what we're talking about. Sometimes these models can change, but many persons are agreeing that it's very much well confident that we might see that code yellow from the U.S. National Hurricane Center this weekend, especially if the Euro starts to cave to what the GFS has been showing all along. And if we take a look at the GFS forecast models now, so as we go out in time, yes, we see the moisture coming into portion of Jamaica. This is 6:00 on Friday, which is actually 1 a.m. on Friday. As we continue to go out in time, we see the moisture still lingering across Jamaica Saturday into Sunday. Look at the dark greens, even some yellows right there to the west of Jamaica. That represents anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even all the way up to 6 inches of rainfall. As we continue to go out in time, look at the increase in moisture across the waters of the southern and southwestern Caribbean as early as 18Z on Tuesday, October 29. That's 1 p.m. on Tuesday. Very interesting if that actually comes to fruition. And look at that. We start to see something bubbling up, an airflow pressure. We see the isobars. We see the center of low pressure associated with it, that L. And as we wrap up the next 168 hours, this is what the GFS is showing. Quite interesting. But the thing is, we don't see so much of a very well formed system. We definitely see a lot of isobars all the way down to 967 millibars. Definitely could be a hurricane at that time. This is what the GFS is showing. Euro, not so much. And the thing is, this is what the Hurricane Center is looking for. They're looking for agreement on both models. As of right now, only the GFS, the other main supercomputer model, the GFS from the United States, is showing something right here, and they definitely always look to the Euro. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that if the Euro was showing something and the GFS was showing something, they would have had a code yellow up by now. That's how strong their faith is in the Euro in general. I've seen it a lot of times in the past. As of right now, the Euro is definitely in consensus that there's gonna be a lot of moisture across the Caribbean. We see all of the greens represents anywhere from 1, maybe all the way up to 3 inches of rainfall from the central to the southwestern, as well as the western Caribbean, across the waters to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico as well. GFS has all of that moisture as well, but it's trying to get some kind of area of low pressure organized right there to the south of Jamaica and Haiti. So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds if we actually acquire the name Patty by next week. Either way, if we don't get the name Patty, we can look forward to a lot of rainfall. Look at all of these dark reds, these purples, these pinks that represent anywhere from 2 all the way up to 4 inches of rainfall. The Euro has more of the rainfall right there to the north of Hispaniola, to the east of Cuba, to the north of Jamaica, across the Western Caribbean, in and around the Cayman Islands, across portions of Belize, coastal areas of Guatemala, Honduras, coastal areas of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama for sure. The GFS definitely a bit more robust. Yesterday, it showed something similar with more of the rainfall spilling into portion of the Central Caribbean, including Jamaica. But look at what we're also seeing. Not only the purples and the pinks, but even the salmon colors getting all the way up into the lighter shades of blues. That represents close to 12 to 15 inches of rainfall across the southwestern Caribbean. And we see something similar across the Turks and Caicos, right there across eastern Cuba. It's definitely going to be an interesting week next week in terms of weather. We could definitely get some flash flooding taking place. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a day next week or the week after that when persons are unable to go to work or school or whatever the case may be because of whatever is going to be unfolding regarding this system, where there's going to be a lot of rainfall causing flash flooding, or maybe something forming into Patty, maybe a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. Hopefully not a hurricane. We cannot bother with that at all. We can't take the power outages or the internet outages at all. Either way, whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. So stay tuned. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that frontal system stretching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic, and it has induced a trough into portions of the Greater Antilles, across the southern Bahamas, to the north of Hispaniola, across eastern Cuba, right there to the north of Jamaica. And it's this that's going to be stalling out for the next couple of days, bringing a lot of rainfall, especially to northern Jamaica for sure. We can see a ridge of high pressure right here that's responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds with some Saharan dust all the way across the main development region into the Caribbean. And with these easterly trade winds, we have some tropical waves, one right here across the northeastern portion of South America, another one right here across the central Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system, stretching all the way down into portions of the Greater Antilles, bring some amount of moisture to portions of eastern Cuba as we speak. The waters across the northern portions of Hispaniola for sure. We can make out the moisture associated with the tropical wave, definitely trying to push its way westward. Just a little bit of moisture, and don't see much happening. But we can also see the moisture associated with that other tropical wave across the waters to the east of the Caribbean. Some of it actually making it into portions of Trinidad and Tobago and northeastern South America as we speak. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, October 24, 2024. It was stated that parts of northern Jamaica would have received rainfall last night into Thursday morning, and that parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes would have received some rainfall on Thursday afternoon. And just for reference, we know that northern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 6 a.m., a post was made here on our Twitter page highlighting the Cuban Doppler radar images, showing the greens and the yellows that represent some amount of rainfall coming into portion of northern Jamaica for sure. We definitely had that rainfall coming into portions of Portland, section of St. Mary and St. Anne gotten on that morning rainfall too. And as the day progressed, the afternoon brought some rainfall to eastern, central, and western Jamaica. At around 1:45 p.m. we started to see the clouds building. We started to hear the thunder across portions of Kingston where I work. Definitely saw some thunderstorms right there across the hills of St. Andrew. We saw the sparkling yellow dots right here on the visible satellite image that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, definitely lashing the eastern parish of Kingston and St. Andrew. So it's more so the western portion of eastern Jamaica, not so much St. Thomas, but some across Portland, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, section of St. Catherine at that time, so too northern Clarendon, sections of southern Trelawney, southern St. Anne, southern St. James, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, well, northwestern St. Elizabeth, as well as Hanover at that time. And then as the afternoon progressed at around 4:35 p.m., the infrared satellite image was posted, highlighting the high cold cloud tops that we know are represented by the grays, the blacks, the reds, all of them representing some cumulonimbus clouds. And we can see the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, across portion of St. Elizabeth, section of the cockpit country right there across northern St. Elizabeth and southern Trelawney, section of southern St. James getting on some of the action too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica, we can definitely make out what occurred. That low level flow from the east across the island, then we started to get all of the air piling up, all of these clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds, especially across the central and western portion of the island. And we can see it all even better on the infrared satellite images of Jamaica. We saw the thunderstorms across the island, especially across inland areas of some central parishes and western Jamaica for sure. Section of St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney definitely got in on most of that action for sure. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, if you don't know by now, we have a partnership with this channel. They show live streams of the corporate area, Kingston Harbor, the panoramic city view like what we're seeing here from up in the hills of East Kingston. You can also see the halfway tree cam, the crossroads cam, the flat bridge cam. And on this panoramic city view at around 2:49 p.m., we saw that we're definitely getting on some amount of rainfall, more so across section of downtown Kingston. Look at that. We can definitely make out the obscured, or yes, the obscured view in general. We can definitely make out the kind of white, not so clear like what we just saw over on the right hand side. So we're definitely getting a some amount of rainfall across portion of downtown Kingston at that time. I remember when I was passing through, there was some amount of rainfall affecting portions of downtown Kingston for sure. Just some light to moderate rainfall, nothing too significant, but this does indeed confirm the rainfall that was experienced across the island. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just subscribe to See Jamaica on YouTube. And we definitely have some comments here coming in on our Instagram page. We had Anto_Netty_89 stating yes, had some rains today in the Stony Hill area. And finally we have Lover of Crunchy Munchy stating Westmoreland Washway. And that was definitely around after the 4:35 p.m. post for sure. And if we take a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerd site, we're going to be looking at the latest infrared satellite image. And the latest image just came out at 45 minutes past the hour, 0045 UTC. It's about the same as 7:45 p.m. Jamaica time. So this one just came out about 9 minutes ago. Definitely can see that we still have some leftover clouds across portions of western Jamaica, across St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, sections of Westmoreland, section of Manchester. Maybe we might get in on some amount of light, well, maybe we're still getting in on some amount of light rainfall from those clouds, but as of right now, it looks like it is dissipating. So let's look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images to confirm. The latest Cuban Doppler radar image just came out at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:50 p.m. Jamaica time. So that just came out 5 minutes ago. We can definitely make out the greens and the yellows that represent some slightly moderate to heavy rainfall, especially across the waters to the west of Jamaica. Some rainfall right there across section of Westmoreland, northwestern St. Elizabeth, and that's just about it. Don't see much, if not anything, across the island. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar Station's Doppler radar, we can definitely see some rainfall across portion of eastern Cuba, some isolated shores across the western peninsula of Haiti. Nothing too significant taking place. Even on the Cayman radar, we can even make out that rainfall that we just saw to the west of Jamaica. And we can definitely see most of the rainfall passing to the south of Grand Cayman right there. And if we take a look at the latest from halfway through, not seeing much taking place. People walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing too significant to worry about tonight. Definitely going to be a fair night across the corporate area in general. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Friday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Friday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight yellow and orange colors. That represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is the equivalent of 31.6 degrees Celsius. So given that we're going to be receiving up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures for Friday, we're going to be getting anywhere from 31 to 33 degrees Celsius at most that day. So we know the drill. We have some tips here to beat the heat. Always be cool. Stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioning. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Always limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water. Put down that sugar drink. Drink water instead. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, we can definitely make out the browns that represent the Saharan dust, stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region into the Eastern Caribbean for the most part. We definitely had some dust across portion of the Central Caribbean, including Jamaica, for the past couple of days, but we see that it has dissipated, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what happens with this plume that's coming in. It's definitely here across portion of the Windward and Leeward Islands right now, bringing some slightly hazy conditions, and we know it can cause definitely some respiratory illnesses from asthma to sinusitis. What we're hoping for is by the time it gets to the central to the Western Caribbean, where Jamaica is located right here, majority of it has dwindled down. That's what we want. We don't need any Saharan dust right now to be making anyone sick. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that we don't have much change. More lighter shades of blues across the Gulf of Mexico, the central to the Eastern Caribbean with the darker shades of blues. And we know all of that are representing what we see in the key on the bottom right, the 0.5 meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 all the way up to 20 knots, especially up in the 25 knot range right there to the north of Colombia, where we see these yellows. And we can definitely see the flow of the winds coming in from the east across the Caribbean, coming in more so from the east northeast across the Western Caribbean, even including Jamaica, especially the northern portion of the island getting in on that east northeasterly flow. And we can see it all even better right here in the close-up. We can definitely make out that wind coming in more so from the east northeast into portion of northern Jamaica, so we can't rule out some morning rainfall throughout the night as well as into tomorrow. You can see that flow from the east across Jamaica right here, and we see that we have the least amount of winds across portions of some central and western parishes. We know what usually takes place. Wherever we have the least amount of winds, that's where we're going to be having that low level flow piling all the air up. All of those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. So look out for that rainfall across portions of some central and western parishes, especially across southern Jamaica for sure. Look out for that. And we can't rule out some rainfall coming off of the sea into portion of northern Jamaica too. So the forecast is definitely for some morning rainfall across northern Jamaica, afternoon rainfall across southern Jamaica. So let's match it right now to what we're seeing on the rainfall forecast maps. This map from the GFS and this map from the Euro are both showing 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see on both maps? The blues, especially across the waters to the north of the island, that represents rainfall. and some of this even making it onshore into portions of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, even section of eastern St. Thomas might get in on some of the action. We see that on both the Euro and the GFS modes. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time, we still see much of the same. The blues represent rainfall across some northern and eastern parishes for sure. And then finally during the afternoon, look at what we see. We see the blues represent rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes, especially across the southern portion of the island for sure. 2 p.m. definitely gonna be festive. Look out for that afternoon rainfall. Look out for that thunderstorm activity for sure. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that it's gonna be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but within the next 24 hours, these are the spots that are going to be picking up the rainfall. And we definitely see that across portions of, especially the waters to the north of the island right here on the GFS. The Euro, a bit more consistent with the rainfall across eastern Jamaica, especially on the northeastern side, all the way up to 0.54 of an inch of rainfall on the Euro. GFS showing all the way up to 0.42 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of October. We're in the wettest month of the year for Jamaica. In Kingston, whose bar graph is here at the top, we usually receive up to 170 millimeters of rainfall. That's almost 7 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay's bar graph is here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 8.5 inches of rainfall. That's about 212 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts inches to millimeters, like what is done on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, the frontal system is definitely bringing some clouds and a stalled out trough into portion of the Greater Antilles as we speak. It has already started in Jamaica. Definitely going to be persisting throughout the weekend. Hispaniola getting in on some of the thunderstorms. Section of the southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba getting in on some of the action. The tropical wave definitely bringing some moisture to portion of the Windward Islands as we speak. We can also see some clouds coming into portions of Nicaragua right now. Definitely some isolated showers, maybe some thunderstorms in there too. And if we actually match the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean to what we just saw on the visible satellite images, let's see if it actually loads up for me. We want to see what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean. Alright, so here we go. We don't see much happening across the US or British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic, but we do see some rainfall to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, some of it affecting section of Guadeloupe as we speak. And if we load these images from earlier today, we can see what was taking place. Definitely some afternoon rainfall across northwestern Puerto Rico, some rainfall across portion of St. Kitts and Nevis. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can definitely make out that moisture passing to the south of the island from east to west right now, definitely affecting portions of Dominica, Martinique. Section of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines definitely getting nailed as we speak. Section of Grenada getting in on the action too. And if we scroll down, even portions of Trinidad and Tobago getting in on some of the action as well, and this should continue tonight into tomorrow. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall right here to the east of Belize, across portion of the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, across portions of Nicaragua coming in from the east. So two sections of Colombia, some isolated shores south, as well across portions of northeastern Venezuela, as well as sections of French Guyana. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps from the Euro and the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. We see all the way up into the red. That represents up to an inch of rainfall, definitely in store for portions of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, section of Belize, Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula, Honduras getting in on some of the action, Colombia, section of the ABC Islands definitely in for some amount of rainfall. I'm sure they're grateful for it. Section of Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, section of Grenada, section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they've already been getting another rainfall as we speak. Some more rainfall for Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, section of the Cayman Islands as well. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.